Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into something that's really at the core of our relationship with God. We're going to explore what truly matters to Him when we disobey. It's not just about the mistake itself, but the attitude of our heart right after it happens. So, let's get into it.
So, let's just kick things off with this question right here. When we disobey God, is the mistake the only thing that matters, or is He maybe looking at something a little bit deeper? This is really the central question we're going to unpack together today.
Okay, to really get to the bottom of that, we first need to get on the same page about two really key ideas: what sin actually is and what God truly desires for us. I promise, this is going to set the stage for everything else we talk about.
So first up, what is sin? Well, it's not just a simple mistake or an oops moment. At its root, sin is disobedience. It's actually a kind of rebellion against God's instruction. It's an active choice, and that's exactly what makes our response to it so significant.
And here's the other piece of the puzzle that's just so crucial. While God is absolutely just, His ultimate goal isn't to punish us. It's fellowship, a lasting, real connection with us. He's always looking for reconciliation. Now keep that in mind as we look at our first couple of examples.
All right, let's see how this plays out in real life, or as real as it gets in the Bible. We're going to go all the way back to the Garden of Eden to witness a very human and very common reaction to getting caught: playing the blame game.
It's a pattern that's as old as humanity itself. Instead of just owning what we did wrong, our first instinct is often to deflect, isn't it? We try to find an excuse, or even better, someone else to pin it on. And this is exactly what we see happen with Adam and Eve.
So, when God confronts Adam, what's his first move? Does he fess up? Nope. He says, "The woman you put here with me." Think about that for a second. He's not only blaming Eve, he's kind of subtly blaming God too. And then Eve, she does the same thing, just passing the buck down the line. She blames the serpent. The one thing you don't hear from either of them is a simple "I was wrong." Now for a slightly more sophisticated response. This one isn't just about blaming someone else. It's about trying to justify your disobedience. And for this, we're going to look at the story of King Saul.
So when the prophet Samuel confronts Saul for directly disobeying God, Saul doesn't even try to deny it. No, instead, he tries to justify it. He tries to spin it, to present his disobedience as some kind of well-intentioned act. He basically argues that his good motives made it okay.
So what do we mean by justification in this case? We're not talking about being made righteous. No, this is all about a defense mechanism. It's when you build a case for why your sin wasn't that bad, or maybe why it was even necessary. It's a lawyer's argument, not a confession from the heart.
Okay, so Adam and Eve blamed, Saul justified, but now we see a completely different response, a pivotal contrast, the kind of response that shows us the heart God is really looking for. Let's turn to King David.
After David commits a truly terrible sin, the prophet Nathan comes and confronts him. And unlike Saul's long-winded arguments or Adam's finger-pointing, David's reaction is just boom, immediate and direct. There's no hesitation, no excuses. And right here you can see the night and day difference. Saul's heart was defensive. It was all about protecting his pride. David's heart, it was broken. His response was just 7 simple words: "I have sinned against the Lord." That's it. A direct, humble admission of guilt. So what we have here are two very different paths you can take. There's the path of defense, of blame, of justification. That's the path of Adam, Eve, and Saul. And then there's the path of repentance, of humble ownership of your wrongdoing. And that's the path of David.
This really brings us to the core of this whole thing. Why does this difference in attitude matter so much? Why does God prefer a repentant heart like David's over a defensive one like Saul's? What's the big deal?
And here it is, the main point. Everyone falls. Everyone disobeys. The act itself isn't the final word. The real issue, the true test, is the attitude of our heart after we fall. A defensive heart, that just builds a wall. It pushes God away. But a repentant heart, man, that just throws the door wide open for restoration.
David's response really gives us a roadmap back to God. It all starts with humility, just acknowledging the truth. And that leads to confession, actually saying it out loud. And from there, we can have true repentance, turning away from the sin. And what's the beautiful result of all that? Restoration. We get to return to that fellowship that God wanted all along.
So, as we start to wrap up, let's make this really personal. Think about it.
When you're confronted with your own sin, your own shortcomings, what's your go-to? What's your default reaction? Is it blame, like Adam? Justification, like Saul? Or is it repentance, like David? The honest answer to that question says a whole lot about the state of our heart.
Let's just close with this simple prayer. It really captures the heart of this entire message, doesn't it? It's all about trading in our prideful defenses for the kind of humble honesty that leads us right back into a deep, real relationship with God. Thanks for joining me.